Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and here I will be actually showing you guys a gambit that you can play. It is called the Vienna Gambit, and it is for white. So white starts off with the most common move, e4, that is you, and black replies with e5. Now you play the Vienna Gambit, which is knight to c3. After what I consider the main line, knight to c6, which I get played the most in my games, you go bishop to f4. Now, if bishop to c5, you play my personal favorite lines. You play queen to g4, and then the most common move by far against this is to go queen to f6. So the point of you going queen to g4 is to attack this pawn and get the rook. So the queen meets you at f6. It protects the pawn, and it also has the idea of checking you here, which looks like checkmate, but it's really not. So what you do is you go knight to d5, provoking the queen to take you. So after the queen takes you, you just move out of the way. And if the queen goes here, you can take it with the bishop. So that's not checkmate. Now, let me just delete this from my history. There we go. So now you are threatening to take this pawn and take the rook, and you're also threatening check and winning the rook. So you are threatening to win one of the rooks, and nothing can stop you. So what happens here is pawn to g6, you do knight to h3, because your plan is actually to trap the queen. And if you notice, the queen cannot go anywhere along these lines. Sorry. What is happening here? So the queen cannot go anywhere along these lines. It's trapped here. The only square it can actually move to is queen to d4. After this, you play pawn to d3. And after you get attacked with this pawn, you move the queen here. Your plan is now simple. Move this pawn over here to take the queen. Now, there is something that black can do against this. Black can move their pawn to d7 to attack the queen. In this case, I personally recommend queen to g3, but let's just see what the Stockfish rule recommends. So Stockfish recommends this move. And after this, it recommends that. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into this line. Let me just delete that. But I just want to know, what does Stockfish think of this move? It thinks of it. So you are still up material. According to the Stockfish, you are 3.8 up. So this is my favorite line, to be honest. Just really be careful about this move. I have done this and then gotten pinned before. So that is your goal. Move out of danger and get the queen. So now we're going to move on to a different line. So now, what happens if you go queen to g4? But now, instead of the queen meeting you and protecting this pawn on f6, what if now the pawn moves up and now you cannot take the pawn to get the rook? So here what you do is you go queen to f3. Then after they go knight to f6, you go knight g to e2. And now your plan is very simple. Your plan is to move your pawn out to d3, move your bishop to g5, and then castle. Very simple plan, right? But what happens if they move the pawn to d7, which I believe is actually the Stockfish's main move, yeah. So you meet them and move the pawn out as well. So after they move out their bishop, you just move your queen to the side, and now your plan is just simple. Get your queen to this square first. Actually, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter in which order you do this. Just make sure that you get your bishop, queen on this diagonal, and you can get this rook. Sorry, not rook, knight. So now let's move on to a different line. So what if just instead of this, they play a move that nobody I have ever seen played against me. But according to Stockfish, this is the best move. So I've never seen this played against me because this just does not look like a tangible move. So you go queen f3, and then after knight to f6, you do knight g to e2, and now it's very similar to what you just saw. Your plan is the exact same. Get the knight. So if you go here, and then take, after pawn takes, their structures, the black's pawn structure is just completely decimated. There's nothing they can do whatsoever. So that's how you win that's how you do my favorite lines in the Vienna Gambit. So now, what happens if they play this, but instead of playing bishop here, they play knight to f6. Now you just go to d3, and your opponent is going to go bishop to either c5 or bishop to b4. There is also a line where they go knight to a5 to attack your bishop, and after that, you actually just move your queen out and let them take, and you take, and now you had just developed your bishop pinning the knight to the queen, and you just castle along, and you just have a rook that's going to be facing here once you castle. Just good for you. So that's if they go knight to a5. But what happens if they go bishop to c5? So this is by far the most common move in this particular position, I believe. So you just go pawn to... Actually, this is the main line of this position, so I'll show you the other lines first. So if bishop to b4, what you do is you just do knight g to e2, which is the only knight that you can actually move. So, and then you move pawn to f4, pawn to f5, and you castle short. So, castle, then you do that. Get it? Okay. So now, let us go on to the main line. So here, you do pawn to f4. If they defend with the pawn, so if they take, well, according to the computer and me, I think you should take this. I believe the computer will also say that. Yes, so the computer thinks that this is the best move. So just here you're in a good position. After this, you can move out. Castles, you castle probably. Or maybe you can maybe you can attack them. I think castling isn't bad though. Yeah, castling isn't that bad. So you can decide where to castle. Personally, I would do what I just showed you guys, but let's say black does this. You go knight to f3, and after black goes knight to g4, you go knight to g5. And the idea is, so castles is the main move, but what happens if they go knight to I believe that's 2, yeah, f2 to get your queen or rook? You allow them to do this, and you threaten checkmate by going queen to h5. Queen f7 is checkmate. So, if this, just play checkmate. Game over. So, let me just delete that move. So, what's going to happen is pawn to g6. After this, you play a very simple move. You just take. Actually, this is not very simple. This is actually very difficult to find, and I believe Stockfish agrees with me. Yes, Stockfish completely agrees. It says that we are winning by 7.2. So we take, and if king goes to the best square possible, c7, bishop to e6, king moves back. Stockfish here thinks that it's going to be a draw. Stockfish wants a draw, some of that. I personally, I don't want to draw. So I would say that that's not a good move. I would say moving the queen here, like there's nothing you can defend against. Like you just go here, and it's game over. Like you pretty much won. What is Stockfish says you're winning by 7 points. Like, you won. There's nothing black can do. Unless you blunder spectacularly, you are not losing this game. Just be careful not to hang any of your pieces. I know you think, oh, I'm winning. I should take some risks. No, you shouldn't. So that's what happens if they go here. Of course, castles is by far the most popular move, I think. I actually haven't gotten this played against me very often. So here you go, pawn to f5. This is one of my Vienna was one of my favorites before I discovered the Trempowski. So after pawn to f5, you can take the knight because you just disconnected the location to you just disconnected the bishop from protecting the knight, so you can just take the knight if they don't move it. So here, after the knight goes and tries to fork you, you threaten checkmate again. There's only one way to defend this, and it is pawn to h6. So you take f7 with your knight. So the computer actually thinks that is the best move, which is more proof for you, and you are winning by 18.7 points here. So if you needed any more proof than that this is a good line, you take. If they take with rook, which I believe computer it does not like that idea. Wow. But now it's just checkmate in 16 moves. Forced checkmate. Now here, the computer actually says that you can just move back. After this, you go here. If takes, this is just checkmate. If here, I think you just take. Here, 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 takes, here, takes the queen, here, 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 and just checkmate. So that's a very long line. I very highly doubt that will happen to you. But all you need to know is if they go here, just try and do this. That's it. You just win. You basically win. So what will happen to you after checks is if that does not happen, king goes to h8. So here it's mate in 6. You go pawn up. If pawn takes, you take with bishop, and literally nothing can stop this mate. This is checkmate. Queen goes here, checkmate. The computer actually thinks that this is the best move. The reason why is because it's check. So here, takes, here, checkmate. This is literally the only reason why computer thinks that this is the best move is because it's check. And it delays checkmate. This is inevitable. If you do not blunder, this is inevitable. Now, before we finish off for today, there's one more line that I would like to discuss, and it's bishop to g4. If this happens, you go knight to a4, attacking the bishop. If their knight goes to d4 to attack your knight, you just trade a knight for bishop. Then you force the knight to take your knight, and then you take with the pawn. And now, basically just go bishop to e3, queen to e2, and then you long castle. This is good for you. You have an amazing position. Actually, according to the computer, you're only winning by 0.9 points. But I guarantee you there is virtually no way you are going to lose this game. If you manage to lose this game, I have nothing to do with it. I told you all the best lines. If they do not play these lines, this is why you should learn some more theory. I actually did not say what's considered by most people to be the main line is pawn e4, pawn e5, knight to c3, and then knight to f6. This is the main line by far. I think this is also what the computer recommends. Oh no, it doesn't. Interesting. I did go over this, yes. Yeah, I did. So, but this is actually considered by most to be the main line. Here you do the Vienna Gambit, which is this. So the reason I did not teach this to you guys is because that line is extremely long, extremely complicated, and if you guys want me to teach it to you, if I get 20 likes on this video, I will teach you the Vienna Gambit, the main line. But other than that, this is what you're going to face. The most challenging move here is probably going to be knight to f6. That's the most challenging move. And this is probably one of the most challenging moves because I didn't really show you guys what to do here, but it's pretty straightforward. Your position is even, but you're in a good place. Remember, if black dislodges you, you take. After takes, you might kick them out and just trade your pieces. And now you have an open rook file. This is just good for you. Obviously, move your rook here. Move your rook here. Move your rook here later, but don't take that pawn just because I showed you it. I'm just saying this is the open line. That doesn't mean you actually have to move your rook there. This is just good for you because then you can do this. You can just launch a full-scale attack there. And castle short. So, that is the Vienna Gambit. So, like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you like this type of content and you want more. Part 2 of the Vienna Gambit will be released the moment I get 20 likes on this video. Other than that, I'm working on releasing a very interesting gambit. It is called the Traxor Counterattack. Counter Gambit. I will not release the full version of it. The full version of it will be released on my website, which I am working on making. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I think I've said everything. Like, subscribe, turn on notification bells if you want to see more type of this content. 20 likes. Part 2. Well, bye. Have a great day.